Hello there, welcome to another week in our garden. Now it's Friday today, we're a little bit late this week. The farmer next door has been combining most of the week, and as you can imagine, with a combine going up and down, it was very noisy, quite dusty as well. I have managed to do a few jobs, but the noise was terrible. So here we are down at the squash arch, as we like to call it. I'm just going to take a few of the leaves off, just to let a little bit more light into them. I have been watering, although it's quite wet underneath. They do need a lot of water now to swell these fruits that we've got, make them swell up nicely. So the water has to be kept up. I usually do it once a day, just into the bottles, just to keep them nice and damp. The leaves I'm going to remove. I have a nice butternut squash here, so if I take this leaf off, it's going to be in the full sunshine. In fact, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 there, so these 2 leaves, and let the light into them. So it's quite simple, just cut them off. It makes an instant difference. If you take this one off as well to let the light fully in, these can go on the compost heap. As long as there's no mildew on them, can compost those. I'm not going to take a lot off, I'm just going lightly. I'll just take this one off as well, just to let a little bit more light. There you are, that's lovely now, look. The other thing I like to do, because I want these to swell up, you can see this shoot coming off here is going to take some of the energy now, so we'll just stop those. Almost impossible to see, you'll never get them all, but the ones you can see, just take these off, and it just keeps the energy in the plant. There's an old male flower there, look, that's finished, so we just take that off. Down this side there's another one here, so we'll just take the end off that. And this battered old leaf up here, look, we'll take that off. It'll only get mildew if it's left. I might later in the week reduce this canopy a little bit more. I don't go to a dead leaf there, look, let's get that all the way. I might just reduce the canopy a little bit this week and keep my eye out for anything that wants chopping off. Oh, that's a tough one. Male flowers that are finished and the flowers die back, that's where you'll, when the weather changes a little, that's where your mildew will start and it will cover your plant then. But they're doing quite well, I'm quite pleased with them. I don't spend a lot of time on them. I spend a lot of time watering them, but not a lot of time on them. They're no problem. I should do the same for the canopy, and perhaps bring the tying machine down and just tie them down a little, because if you get a lot of wind, these will try and blow off. There's 1 or 2 that needs just tying down a little. As you can see, we're getting some quite big ones up there. We have to make sure they're nicely supported. I might have to bring the slate down and just pop under that. I think I've got one actually. There you are, we'll just put that slate on there best I can. We'll just move it this way a little. That's it, it's got it nicely now. It's not going to stop it getting dirty, but it'll probably stop it from having a cut in it as it rolls about on the timber. There's another one there, but I can't do anything for that one, I'm afraid. That one will have to take its chance. These small pretty white ones seem to be all over the bush. They're doing rather well. The granddaughters did come down this week and inspected them, and they was very excited and pleased with them. When they have their Halloween party, they're going to come down and fetch all these little squashes, etc., and they're quite pleased with it. We'll just quickly look at the pumpkins that are growing nicely, some behind me, some in front of me. Everything's doing very well, but I'll just show you that I will be taking some of the shoots off now, the leaders. These are what I'm going to stop now, look. I don't want any more fruits on them. We've got some good fruits in there, as you can see. Very large, and there's plenty behind it. So now we can just take these and stop them. There you are. That's all you do. It's just a quick set. There's another one actually there, look. So it's got loads on it. This was the row of sapomira potatoes that we grew that were the blight resistant ones. I've cut the tops off now so that we can harden the skins a little before harvesting. There was no blight on them, and now it's new one to us, so we just want to see what it cooks and tastes like, and if everything's okay, this will be the potato that we grow next year. With me removing the tater haulms, as you can see, it's exposed some of the pumpkins, which will be happy now when they've got some sun on them. What we'll do is the canopy is filling and they're beginning to ripen. We'll just come in and do the same as what we did on the arch there, and just take any leaves. That one wanted to come off anyway. Take some of the leaves off so the sun can get to them and ripen them. Another one here, look, we'll just take that one off. Not too many, only just above your fruits, and then it'll be ripening through. But I will complete the whole bed where the fruits are. That'll let a bit more light in. Then when we have harvested them, we'll wipe them down with a cloth and we'll pop them in the sun anyway, which will help ripen them again. What they would do commercially is spray off all the leaves and leave the pumpkins on the field to mature in the sunshine. We'll do something similar, but we won't be spraying. We'll cut our leaves off because we haven't got too many. Okay. Next to the pumpkins, we've got the courgettes. We're still cropping, we're still picking them, but we're now coming towards the end of the plant. They're getting quite big plants now, but we've got plenty in the freezer, so we might just crop one or two now. That one's got a bit bad on it, look. If you see anything like that, look, just take it off. I'll put it over there and I'll put that on the composting later. There's plenty still coming. They will keep cropping right until the frost, but it's a case of what you're going to do with them all. There's a weed there, look, we'll take that. If you see a weed, pull it up. So we'll keep them going until we really can't give any more away or store anymore, and then I shall remove the plant. They've done very well this year. I think it's because it's been a wet summer and they really have done well. Very pleased with the courgettes this year. It tastes well as well. While we're next to the apple tree, it's just reminded me that a little job we will be doing next week is getting these grease bands changed ready for the winter. The apples are very nice and clean, no holes in them. We need to renew them now, especially now the harvesting, and the harvest dust is everywhere, and when we're hoeing the dust goes on them as well, so we really do need to get them changed. So we'll do that with you next week, so I'll have to make sure I've got some grease bands in. Right, we're going to do a little bit of digging where we're going to put the cauliflowers. The leeks are doing rather well. Little bit of rust on them. If we get too much rust on the leaves, I just cut the leaves off and they'll have to grow new ones at the top, but they're still doing well. They're fine. There's a few little gem lettuce there ready for cutting, so we'll cut those on the way up to the house. Don't cut them yet. Right, this is bed C. This will be next year's brassicas. If you remember, we did the plan, and it's this tunnel that will be here that will take cauliflowers for next year. Now, as I said, the cauliflowers need some manure in the bottom and then lime in the top, so I'll show you how I dig it. As you can see, I've done this far and it's got plenty of lime on it, so I'll go through a whole section of how I do it. Now, you only need to do this for the cauliflowers. Remember, where the cabbage tunnels are going to go, it's just to dig, loosen the bottom with the fork, and then add some lime to it. But the cauliflowers will need this under them. The trench ready and turned it over from the last one. Now I'm going to put some manure into here. This is actually compost out the compost bins. Our own compost is very, very good. Turn it in and then move forward and turn the next lot over. Okay. You want a decent amount in. Then what I do, I spread it along, just like that. You see? Now, with it being a bit on the heavy side, this land, I use a steel handled fork to dig the bottom in. If you use a wooden one, you just break it off. I don't go in the trench, I just stand at the side, push it down deep, and then turn it over and dig it in. Make sure you got the edges away, and then that's how you start. And then we'll just carry on along the bed. Get rid of that, look, it's old root there. Look. You can see the clay, and you can see how wet it is underneath. Usually on a dry year for this time of year, we would never be able to do this, but it's been such a wet year I can do them early. Push it well down and just turn it. There you can see the clay, look. It's better than it was, because when I first started turning this bottom, it was bright red. So we are winning slowly. It just took a year or two, really, but we're getting there. You can see why you need the steel fork. Good and deep. And then just break and level the top, and then we'll put a bit of lime on it. Now that has been dug another spit deep, so when we finish it'll be 2 spits deep, with all that nice manure in the bottom for the cauliflowers to feed on. I'll just tell you that this is hard work, as you can see. Those of you that don't want to be doing such hard work or can't do hard work, I think if you go onto Mike Hurdy's site and have a look at his no dig beds, that might be beneficial for you. Okay, having turned this into the bottom spit, it'll be acid down there, so I'm just going to pop a bit of lime on, just to even the pH out a little bit below, because as you know, brassicas don't like to be too acid. So we just do that, and we just mix that in. Then just gently rake it through. There's no need to be too much with it. Take the line off. If you put this stick where the line was to there, then this is the measure, so we'll do this side first. Same again. Take that out, put that in so you know where you were, and then you put that on, push that one in, push that one in, and normally I just stand that up for now. Then you can see the next turnover. We'll turn it over and let you see the finish. So what I do first, make sure my line's straight, and I just cut the edges first. Always make sure your spade is nice and sharp, and then we dig. So do a mark and then take the first one off. Okay, then we just start digging it. And it's no to break it too much. Again, if you just measure it, it's easy. So we've got a dusty top and a wet bottom on there. Try not to go too deep because you really don't want that clay up. You will get a bit coming up, you can't avoid it. I find it easy if you don't bite too much off with your spade. Just do them in 2s and 3s, it's fine. Now this carried the onions last year, and at the very bottom of the trench you can see some of the onion roots are still there. So they really do deep, very, very deep rooted. Now remember, that's the line we're going to, is these pegs, so nothing this side of that. Right, I'll dig the next one along, doing exactly the same, and then I'll show you the next step. That's the trench dug. I'm turned over. I've kept between the two markers, so I know from there on it's got the manure in the base. Now I just need to line that, then the old process can start again. I haven't broken the top of the soil up too much because the weather will do that. And you'll find by the time we get round to planting next spring, this will be back down level and nice and firm, ready for the brassicas, which love it hard. Love hard ground, so this will be back down to normal. Plenty of lime. There you go, that'll wash in nicely now. Now that is how we prepare the ground for cauliflowers and calabrese. Won't do this for cabbage, don't forget. The cabbages just want good hard firm ground, so the tunnel that goes next to us, which will be holding the cabbages, and even the tunnel that's carrying the Brussels, we'll just dig it well, and as we dig it we just put the steel fork in and break the bottom a bit, not turning, just break it, then mix the lime with it as we dig it, and it's ready. It'll firm down through the wind. Remember, if you do it right like this, you'll have cauliflowers like igloos next year, hopefully. So that's how we do the cauliflowers and the calabrese. They do need that little bit more bite underneath them. Now the onion bed, which is bed B, this for next year, we're going to put in some Japanese overwintered onions. So I will strip dig a piece like we're doing now, but I shall add more manure to the top as well. and that'll be for the overwintered Japanese onions. I am going to actually grow them in one of these tunnels. I think they'll, if they have a little bit of protection, I think they'll do a little bit better, although they did quite well on their own last year. But that's me. We'll see how they do in a tunnel. But the ground still needs preparing, so I shall start that this next week or so. So get some manure down here, get them dug, get it ready for when we do set the Japanese overwintering onion. Okay? Right, we're on bed B, which was the potato bed. I've cleared it now, it's all ready, and I've had my controlled burn. Everything looks fine. Level it off, and what I'm thinking I'm going to start with is putting manure on top, let it wash in for a week or so. I'll start preparing it for next year's crops, which would be the onions, the beans, the peas. So I'm going to put a lot of work into this bed. One strip, remember, we'll use for overwintering onions, so I need to get that done first. Right, the next job we need to do today is to get the grapevine thinned out a little to let some sunlight onto those grapes, get them ripened. That needs to be done while we've got some nice sun. So we'll pop up to the shed and we'll do that. Here we are under the grapevine. Now if you remember that last week we took a few leaves off this area to let the sun into these grapes. You can see already they're starting to turn. Once you get the sun on them, they soon turn. Looking under here, this canopy is far too thick. Done this half. As you can see, there's a lot more light coming in, so I'll do a little bit with you, and then later today I'll clear the whole side off. Not too many leaves off, but just enough to let a bit more light onto these grapes. They do love the sun. Some people do it by hand, picking them off like that, but what I find is if you're moving these vines too much, the bunches are so heavy they will snap quite easily, and you'll find you've got more grapes on the floor. Nice and steadily in, sorting. The leaves actually go through some of the grapes, which is quite difficult. Once you've got the bottom off, then we can go up to the top a little. So we just twist the leaves out of the grapes best you can, and then cut them off. Once you get the bottom lots off, it's not too bad. And we start and let the light through. I'll do this above us and then you'll see. So it's a case of there's quite a jungle up there, and it will take some time. But once you start at the top, you'll see the light come through. Yeah, sounds like chickens. Oh, there we go. If you're cutting any long ones off, remember, leave two nodes behind. One for next year's grapes and one's just in case. Alright, while I'm taking them off up here, now it's not quite time to take cuttings, but we will take some maybe next month, I think. Right, as you can see, it's opened up the canopy a lot now, so the sun will be able to come through and ripen these grapes as they hang here. I don't know if Diane can show you. I'm leaving one or two of these long shoots on, and these are the ones that we'll use for the cuttings next month. We'll try and get those to root in the garden. When I planted the grapevine, I planted it so it'll give me a nice summer canopy to keep the sun, because it really gets hot here, and we would have beautiful autumn colour. The grapes were secondary. At that time I didn't know it was going to crop like this, and that's the colour that we would have got on the on the leaves. This was one leaf that was at the top. You can see that it's very, very red. It would have looked absolutely stunning with the canopy, but I seem to be cutting an awful lot of them off now. So now it's a grapevine set for the grapes, but originally it was just set for a bit of a canopy. There was no special ground preparation. We just popped it inside of the shed and it's gone mad ever since. But there you can see there's a really, really full crop of grapes on it. We'll have to finish this today. I've left the leaves on the floor for the chickens to have a sort out, and any grapes down there, no doubt they'll take those. While it's still nice, run it down, do some harvesting, okay? I'm just going to pick a couple of lettuce for the weekend to go with the salad crops we're going to get later. There's one or two little holes in them, but they're fine. They've only been grown under this wire just to keep the pigeons off. So, I don't know if you can hear that, that's a wild pheasant next door calling. I'll just take these off and then we'll go and do some celery. I'm going to have to pass them to Dyson to do 7 things here. And this one, I think. Again, there's 1 or 2 holes in them, but they're fine. Lovely little heart on them. But they are little gems, so they're not going to get big. We're just going to harvest this celery. I'll use the harvest knife to get them out. I've got him. I'll show you how we dress them. Now this one is called green sleeves. I couldn't remember the name when we was up at the house, but I found the label there. So this is green sleeves, where the other one here is called starburst. Starburst has the red effect on it. Okay. Right, so we'll just clean it up and I'll show you how to do it. First job is take all this off the bottom. You don't want that on. You just try and keep it facing down so any soil doesn't fall into it. That one's no good as well. Look, we'll take that one off. Then we need the sharp knife. Try and keep your hands clean. The sharp knife and take those roots off now. It's just a case of slicing through them. I ought to press down on something. I use that handle. There you go, look. You see? Off nice and clean. Use the back of the knife just to make sure it's tidy. And then just below where the leaves start, you want to put your hand right round it. I can do this, I've got big hands. And then I just cut through that. We'll take the leaves off there. As you can see, it's lovely and clean. Nothing eating it or anything, so again, I put my hand right round it and then I just cut through, look, in one, like that. Then what I normally do, I keep it closed up and just pull any leaves off that are sticking out. And that is a lovely fresh stick of green sleeves celery. Pull in a few radish while I'm down here. This is a little bit of catch crop on a spare ground that we had, so I just popped a few in. This is more or less the first picking off them. It's not a great lot, but enough to give the salad a little bit of a taste. They'll be fine. We're in the fruit case, and as you can see, the raspberries are absolutely loaded this year. It's been one of the best years I've known for raspberries for a long time. We'll have some for tea, and then we'll freeze some and we'll use them in smoothies. Quite a few. Absolutely beautiful, very large berries this year as well. And as you can see behind me, I think there's more and more still to come. So we can say It's been a good raspberry year this year. Pop up to the greenhouse and we need to harvest some yellow peppers, some tomatoes, some cucumber to add to the salad bowl that we're picking today. But at least we've got a nice pudding. That was hard work picking all those raspberries. I'm stained. So we're up in the greenhouse now. We've got some tomatoes that want harvesting, some beautiful yellow peppers. The red ones are just beginning to turn. They are large though. Another one at the back there just beginning as well. So they'll be turning red very soon. We usually get red before yellows. The other thing is, before we harvest the tomatoes, we'll have to harvest this monster before it gets too big and pulls the plant down again. So I'll take him off. That is a very good cucumber. The name is Femspot. Femspot, I have to remember that. That's it's been a very good cropper this year. Now, having got the cucumber down, we'll harvest a yellow pepper or two. Okay, while I've got the secateurs, we'll take them off. As you can see, the beautiful peppers. I'll take the lower ones first. These are the lower ones. Not quite there, but not far off. There you are. That's a cracker. I'm going to take a green pepper as well. Di said she wants a green one, so we'll take a green one. Not that one. This one, I think. If I can get him. Not quite as big, but just as good. Look at that. Beautiful. That's the peppers and the cucumber harvested. I'm just going to pick a few tomatoes now and then we'll show you what we've got, okay? It's such a lovely day today. It's so hot in this greenhouse. Now you can see we've picked a couple of lettuce, little gem they are, a few radish, 2 yellow and 1 green pepper, a very large cucumber and some beautiful celery, and a few tomatoes. There's 1 tomato in there with a splitting nut, but that's the overcast weather, I'm sure. It's not the watering, they get watered too regular. That's a nice salad pick for the weekend. That'll do nicely. As I say, it's Friday today, a little bit late this week because of the combine harvesting next door. But they've got it done now, and they've got it done while the weather's been brilliant all week for them. I'm well pleased for them, so they can get it done. So that'll be it for this week. Just a quick thank you for Nigel on Muddy Boots for giving us a mention about the garlic plants. Appreciate that, nice, thank you. And many thanks, of course, to all our subscribers. And all those people who are new to the channel, welcome. Hope you're enjoying it. So that'll be it for this week. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Bye now.